My beloved brothers and sisters, pause for a moment and listen very carefully. If there is a feeling in your heart that keeps returning, a discomfort you cannot name, a restlessness that follows you even when things seem fine, do not ignore this reminder. Many people feel this and continue their lives as normal until one day they realize they have drifted far from Allah without noticing when it happened. Others recognize this feeling early, respond to it correctly, and Allah changes their path completely. By the end of this reminder, you will understand exactly what this feeling means, why Allah placed it in your heart, and what will happen if you ignore it. Please stay with me until the end, because this message may be Allah's final warning to you before He changes something in your life. Not every difficulty is punishment, some are protection. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most dangerous thoughts a believer can have during hardship is this silent question: is Allah angry with me? This thought alone can push a person away from Allah faster than the difficulty itself. We must correct this misunderstanding from the very beginning. Not every difficulty you face is punishment. In fact, many of the difficulties you experience are not meant to harm you at all. They are meant to protect you. If hardship were a sign of Allah's anger, then the most beloved people to Allah would have lived the easiest lives. But look at the prophets. Look at their stories. They were tested in their health, in their families, in their wealth, in their safety, and yet they were the closest to Allah. This alone should teach us that difficulty does not equal rejection. Sometimes Allah removes comfort because comfort was slowly destroying your iman. Sometimes Allah removes ease because ease was making you forget Him. And sometimes Allah allows hardship not because you are bad, but because you are valuable. When Allah sees a servant drifting, becoming careless, becoming too attached to the world, He does not always punish them. Often He interrupts their life with discomfort so they wake up before it is too late. Ask yourself honestly, did this difficulty push you further from Allah, or did it make you think about Him more? Did it make you reflect, question your choices, reconsider your priorities? If the hardship softened your heart, humbled you, or brought you closer to prayer, then wallahi, this is not punishment. This is Allah protecting your akhirah, even if it hurts your dunya. Punishment hardens the heart. A warning softens it. Punishment makes you angry at Allah. A warning makes you turn back to Him. And Allah is too merciful to punish a servant. He is still guiding. When Allah wants to destroy, He lets a person continue comfortably in their wrongdoing. But when Allah wants to save, He disturbs their peace. So do not rush to label every pain as punishment. Sometimes Allah blocks the road because the road ahead would have destroyed you. Sometimes Allah closes a door because behind that door was a loss you could not see. And sometimes Allah allows difficulty simply to stop you long enough to say, my servant, come back to me. If you understand this lesson, your relationship with hardship will change forever. You will stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is Allah protecting me from? And that question alone can transform pain into guidance. Allah disturbs the heart before He changes your direction. My beloved brothers and sisters, let me speak to you directly now, especially to those of you who keep saying, I don't understand why I feel like this. Nothing is wrong, but nothing feels right either. This lesson is for you. Many people in this room and many listening right now are living a life that looks stable on the outside but feels wrong on the inside. You wake up, you go through the motions, you smile when needed, but your heart feels unsettled. And instead of asking Allah what this means, you tell yourself, I'll deal with it later. Listen carefully. Allah does not always change your situation first. Often He changes your heart before He changes your direction. Because if Allah changed your path without preparing your heart, you would run back to what harmed you. So Allah places discomfort inside you while everything around you stays the same. That discomfort is not confusion, it is guidance. You see, if you were completely content while drifting away from Allah, that would be dangerous. Feeling comfortable while distant from Allah is far more frightening than feeling uneasy while still connected to Him. That uneasy feeling is Allah refusing to let your heart settle in a place that will damage your akhirah. Allah tells us clearly in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكَرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whoever turns away from my remembrance will certainly have a life of hardship. My brothers and sisters, notice something powerful here. Allah did not say poverty. Allah did not say illness. Allah said a constricted life, a tight chest, a restless heart. A life that feels heavy even when it looks fine. This is exactly what many people feel today. And some of you think this feeling means you are weak. No, it means your heart is still alive. A dead heart feels nothing. A living heart feels pain when it is going in the wrong direction. That pain is not there to punish you, it is there to redirect you. Let me speak to those who say, but I still pray, I still believe. Why do I feel this way? My beloved brothers and sisters, prayer without reflection can become routine. Belief without obedience can become fragile. Allah shakes the heart not because you have no iman, but because He wants to strengthen it. He wants you to stop surviving spiritually and start living with purpose. If Allah wanted to leave you lost, He would let you feel comfortable in your distance. But Allah loves you enough to make you uncomfortable before you destroy yourself slowly. That feeling is Allah saying, my servant, where are you going? So do not silence this warning with distractions. Do not drown it with entertainment. Do not label it as stress and move on. Sit with it, reflect. Ask Allah sincerely, what are you trying to pull me away from, and what are you calling me toward? Because the heart that listens early is spared the pain of being forced later. Understand this clearly. When Allah disturbs your heart, He is not being cruel. He is being careful with you. He is preparing you for a change that will save you, not break you. I want you to understand this properly, because misunderstanding it has destroyed many people quietly. Allah does not surprise His servants with destruction. Allah does not seize a believer suddenly without first sending signals. Before consequences arrive, Allah sends warnings. Before things collapse, Allah allows the heart to feel uneasy. And before a servant falls far, Allah gives them chances to turn back. Let me speak to you directly, especially to those who keep saying, I know something is wrong, but I don't think it's serious. That sentence right there is dangerous. That is how warnings are ignored. That is how mercy is delayed. That is how small discomfort turns into heavy loss. Allah is the most merciful. His mercy appears before His justice, and His mercy appears in the form of reminders, uneasiness, guilt, restlessness, and inner disturbance. These are not random emotions. These are signals. When Allah wants to correct you gently, He speaks to your heart. When you ignore the heart, Allah speaks to your life. Some people think punishment starts when everything falls apart. No, punishment begins when warnings are ignored for too long. When a person keeps dismissing the signs, keeps normalizing distance, keeps silencing guilt, Allah may allow them to continue but without guidance, and that is far more frightening than hardship. Ask yourself honestly, how many times did Allah warn you before something went wrong in your life? How many times did your heart feel uneasy before a bad decision? How many times did you feel guilt before a sin became a habit? Those were not coincidences. Those were exits Allah placed in front of you, and many people walked past them without realizing what they were. My beloved brothers and sisters, when Allah warns you, He is still protecting you. But when Allah stops warning, when the heart no longer feels discomfort, when sin no longer bothers you, when distance from Allah feels normal, that is when you should truly be afraid. Because a heart that no longer feels pain has already hardened. Some of you listening right now are thinking, I feel warned, but I'm tired. I don't have the strength to change. Listen carefully. Allah does not ask you to fix everything at once. He asks you to respond. Even a small step toward Him matters. A sincere intention matters. A moment of honesty matters. Responding to the warning early saves you from heavier lessons later. Do not underestimate this stage. Many people lose their marriages, their peace, their iman, their direction, not because Allah didn't warn them, but because they delayed responding. They thought they had time. They thought things would somehow fix themselves. They thought the feeling would go away. Instead, the feeling grew heavier, the situation grew harder, and the return became more painful. Allah's warnings are mercy knocking on your heart. If you open the door early, Allah enters with ease. If you delay, the knock becomes louder, not because Allah is harsh, but because He refuses to give up on you easily. So if your heart feels uneasy today, do not panic, but do not ignore it either. This is the stage where decisions are still light. This is the stage where change is still gentle. This is the stage where Allah is still calling, not forcing. And wallahi, responding now is far easier than being corrected later. Remember this always. Warnings are proof that Allah still wants you. And the earlier you respond, the lighter the road back to Him will be. My beloved brothers and sisters, listen to this very carefully, because this lesson explains why many people feel pain without understanding its purpose. Sometimes Allah does not send difficulty to change your environment. He sends difficulty to detach your heart from something that is quietly destroying you. And this is one of the hardest forms of mercy to accept, because it hurts the very things we love, rely on, and feel safe with. There are attachments that feel harmless, a relationship that feels necessary, a lifestyle that feels normal, a habit that feels comforting, a dream that feels like your identity. But Allah sees what you cannot see. Allah sees where this attachment will lead you in 5 years, 10 years, or on the day you stand before Him alone. And when Allah sees that something you love will eventually cost you your iman, your character, or your akhirah, He does not always remove it instantly. Often He first removes the peace from it. That is why some of you feel uncomfortable in places you once loved. That is why things that once brought joy now bring heaviness. That is why the heart no longer rests where it used to. Allah is slowly loosening your grip before He pulls something away completely, because a sudden loss would shatter you. So Allah prepares you emotionally before He corrects you spiritually. Let me speak to those who say, but I need this, I can't let go. My dear brothers and sisters, the heart was not created to depend on anything temporary. When the heart clings too tightly to creation, Allah intervenes not to punish but to rescue. Because whatever you depend on more than Allah will eventually control you, disappoint you, or abandon you. Allah loves you too much to let your heart remain enslaved to what cannot save it. And sometimes Allah allows difficulty to expose the truth of what you are relying on. When that thing begins to fail you, when it no longer gives comfort, when it no longer responds the way it used to, Allah is teaching you a painful but necessary lesson. This was never meant to carry your heart. Some of you are confused because you are asking Allah to fix the situation, while Allah is trying to free your heart from the situation. You want relief without release. You want peace without detachment. But true peace does not come from holding tighter. It comes from letting go for the sake of Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, attachment is not always love. Sometimes attachment is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of change. Fear of trusting Allah fully. And Allah knows that as long as fear controls the heart, faith cannot grow properly. So Allah shakes the attachment until you finally say, "Oh Allah, you are enough." This is why difficulty often increases when we refuse to let go. Not because Allah enjoys our pain, but because we are holding on to what He is trying to remove gently. When the heart releases, the pain lightens. When the heart surrenders, Allah replaces what was taken with something better, sometimes in this world and always in the next. So if something you love has started to hurt you, do not immediately assume Allah is against you. Ask yourself instead, is Allah protecting my heart from depending on the wrong thing? Because wallahi, whatever Allah removes to save your iman is a gift, even if it arrives wrapped in pain. This lesson may be uncomfortable to hear, but it is one of the most important truths a believer must understand. One of the greatest illusions we live with is the belief that we are in control. We plan, we organize, we calculate, and slowly, without realizing it, our hearts begin to trust our own ability more than Allah's decree. And when that happens, Allah allows difficulty to enter our lives, not to destroy us, but to remind us of who is truly in control. Let me speak directly to you who think like this. You say, I've done everything right, I planned carefully, I worked hard, I thought it through. Why is this still happening? My dear brothers and sisters, effort is required in Islam, but reliance must never shift away from Allah. When effort turns into arrogance, when planning turns into dependence, and when success makes us forget the one who granted it, Allah intervenes. Difficulty comes when Allah wants to remove the false sense of security we have built around ourselves. Because a heart that believes it is in control will never truly submit. And submission is the essence of iman. You see, when life is smooth, we say Alhamdulillah, but often without reflection. When things go our way, we trust our strategies, our intelligence, our connections. But when Allah removes control from our hands, suddenly we realize how fragile everything truly is. And that realization is painful. It shakes the ego. It humbles the heart. It exposes how dependent we actually are. Some of you are experiencing difficulty right now because Allah is breaking an illusion that would have destroyed you later. You were beginning to believe that your safety came from your job, your health, your plans, or your relationships. And Allah loves you too much to let your heart rely on something that can collapse overnight. So Allah removes certainty. Allah introduces instability. Allah allows things to fall apart, not because He hates you, but because He wants you to remember Him before you are completely lost. Let me ask you something sincerely. When was the last time you made dua with complete helplessness? When was the last time you spoke to Allah because you had no other option? For many people, that only happens when difficulty arrives. Ease makes us forget. Difficulty makes us beg. And begging Allah is not humiliation, it is honor. My beloved brothers and sisters, control is intoxicating. The moment you feel secure without Allah, your heart is already in danger. So Allah removes control to save your iman. He allows situations where your plans fail, your expectations collapse, and your strength feels insufficient. And in that moment, Allah is teaching you the most powerful lesson of tawakkul. You were never in control to begin with. Some of you are fighting this lesson. You are trying harder to regain control instead of surrendering. You are forcing solutions instead of trusting Allah's timing. You are exhausted because you are trying to carry a burden that was never meant for you. Control belongs to Allah. Peace comes when you accept that. Difficulty is not there to make you powerless. It is there to make you reliant. And reliance on Allah is the strongest position a believer can be in. When you stop resisting Allah's control, when you stop arguing with destiny, when you stop demanding outcomes, something incredible happens. The heart softens, fear decreases, trust increases. And even before the situation changes, peace returns. Allah allows difficulty to strip the heart of arrogance, to crush the illusion of independence, and to rebuild the soul on humility. And once that happens, once the heart finally submits, Allah opens doors you could never have planned for. So if you feel out of control right now, do not despair. This may be the moment Allah is teaching you the most valuable lesson of your life. Not how to manage everything, but how to trust the one who does. My beloved brothers and sisters, this lesson is not easy to accept, but it is necessary because many people misunderstand why their difficulty refuses to leave. Sometimes Allah allows hardship to continue not because the test is unfinished, but because the heart is still loyal to the wrong thing. Let me speak directly to you now. Some of you are making dua. You are asking Allah for relief. You are begging Allah to change your situation. But deep inside, you are still holding on to something Allah is asking you to release. And as long as the heart remains loyal to what Allah is warning you about, the difficulty stays. Allah does not expose the heart through words. He exposes it through pressure. Pressure reveals truth. When everything is calm, loyalty is hidden. When things become difficult, loyalty is exposed. What you run to in pain is what your heart truly trusts. What you defend when Allah shakes it is what your heart is attached to. What you refuse to let go of, even when it is hurting you, is what has taken a place in your heart that belongs only to Allah. Some of you say, I trust Allah, but panic controls you. Some of you say, Allah is enough, but fear governs your decisions. Some of you say, I rely on Allah, but when Allah removes the means, your heart collapses. That is not hypocrisy, that is exposure. And exposure is the first step to purification. My beloved brothers and sisters, Allah allows difficulty to reveal these realities, not to shame you, but to save you. Because a heart that believes it trusts Allah while actually trusting creation is a heart in danger. And Allah is too merciful to let that danger go unnoticed. That is why some difficulties refuse to move. Not because Allah is cruel, not because Allah is ignoring you, but because the heart has not yet surrendered fully. You are asking Allah to change the situation while Allah is waiting for you to change your attachment to the situation. Let me speak to those who think like this. If Allah just fixes this one thing, then I'll be okay. My dear brothers and sisters, that sentence alone reveals the problem. Peace is not meant to come from this one thing. Peace comes from Allah. And until the heart learns that lesson deeply, Allah may keep removing false sources of comfort again and again. Allah knows something about you that you may not know about yourself. You are strong enough to survive this exposure. If you were weak, Allah would not confront you with it. If you were incapable, Allah would not allow the pressure to rise. Difficulty is not proof of your weakness, it is proof of your capacity. Some of you are asking, why does Allah keep touching the same wound? Because the wound is where the disease is. Allah does not heal what we refuse to uncover. Allah does not purify what we keep hiding. Allah does not remove what we secretly protect. This is why difficulty often becomes repetitive. The lesson returns in different forms until the heart finally understands what Allah is asking. Change the people, change the environment, change the routine. If the heart remains attached, the pain returns. Because the lesson was never external, it was internal. My beloved brothers and sisters, there is a dangerous comfort in blaming circumstances. It allows us to avoid responsibility. But Allah wants honesty from you, not perfection. Honesty. Allah wants you to admit, even if only to Him, oh Allah, my heart is clinging to something you are warning me about. That admission alone can change everything. Some of you are tired because you are fighting Allah's wisdom instead of aligning with it. You are resisting a lesson that would free you. You are defending attachments that are draining your soul. And the longer the resistance, the heavier the pressure. Let me tell you something very important. Allah never exposes the heart without offering a way out. The moment you sincerely loosen your grip, the moment you stop defending what Allah is shaking, the moment you say, oh Allah, if this is harming my iman, remove it from my heart, even if it hurts, the weight begins to lift. Relief does not always begin when circumstances change. Relief often begins when loyalty shifts. This is why some people feel peace before their situation improves, and others remain miserable even after their situation improves. Because peace was never in the situation, it was in the heart's alignment with Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, Allah allows difficulty to strip away false loyalties, false securities, and false identities. He wants to see what remains when everything else is removed. And when the heart finally stands with Allah alone, no conditions, no demands, no bargaining, that is when change becomes inevitable. Do not misunderstand this lesson. Allah is not asking you to feel nothing. Allah is asking you to trust Him more than what you fear losing. Allah is asking you to love Him more than what you are clinging to. Allah is asking you to choose Him fully, honestly, without reservation. And when you do, wallahi, you will look back at this difficulty and realize it was not there to destroy you. It was there to liberate you. So if your hardship is still standing, ask yourself this question sincerely. What is Allah trying to free my heart from? Because the moment that question is answered honestly, the door to relief begins to open. My beloved brothers and sisters, this final lesson is the most important one, because everything you have heard until now leads to this moment. Warnings are not meant to frighten you, they are meant to save you. And the greatest tragedy is not that Allah warns a servant, it is that the servant hears the warning and delays responding. Let me speak to you gently but honestly. Some of you listening right now already know what Allah is warning you about. You don't need another sign. You don't need another reminder. You don't need another hardship. You already feel it in your heart. You already know which door Allah wants you to close, which habit Allah wants you to leave, which attachment Allah wants you to loosen, which direction Allah wants you to turn away from. But the danger is delay. Delay is subtle. Delay whispers later. Delay says not now. Delay convinces you that you have time. And many people have lost everything while waiting for a better moment to obey Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, responding to Allah does not require perfection. It requires sincerity. Allah is not waiting for you to become someone else. He is waiting for you to turn back as you are broken